Thank you for having me. You are very kind. All come here, have this big turnout for me. We are bounded by one thing. I think we all love this country. And I feel this country has given so much. America is an exceptional country. No matter who you are, what skin color you have, how little you beginning, could be even negative beginning, and you can live American dream. Do you agree? Yes. Would you mind to turn the lights off? So this picture is in here. That's what I look like when I walked to college, not to New York's like I cannot walk to the US, you know. I have to fly or take a long boat. So when I was 17, walked to university campus to study law in Shanghai from Chengdu. I took 3 days road, like a train trip, very slow train. It's a very primitive, hard seat, you know, and sit down. You sit up and sleep. And I was told, when you go to Shanghai, you're from Sichuan, their food is very plain. You need hot spicy sauce. So you saw me, it's still 2 braids, approved hairstyle, and men's pants, and with a hiking stick. I'm from Sichuan with mountains, and with 2 paper saws on the back. And that's how I told my husband that's what I look like. He said, "Oh, that's great. Let's draw an art picture." My nephew-in-law draw that picture for me. But instead, going to Shanghai College, I was searching for freedom and came to Statue of Liberty. So that's my brand now, Lily for Liberty. So you can find me on Facebook page, and Twitter, Lily for Liberty. And later you will see my YouTube Williams and Instagram, Lily Tang Williams. When you Google me, Lily Tang Williams, I'm blessed. I'm the only one in the country. But if you say Lily Williams or Lily Tang, there are lots of them. So I'm the proof, hey, I'm a very unique individual created by God, not by government, right? Especially, yeah, right. So today's subject is my 2 cultural revolutions. If you have never been to China, you will see this is a Chinese map. When you look at Chinese, what do you think? They are the Han Chinese, Mandarin Chinese, speak Mandarin, like me, wear the clothes I wear. But China has 50 minorities, and each minority has their own language, has their own culture, and outfit. Especially the southwest region, of course, you know about the big region of Tibet, and that's a restricted area for foreign tourists. And Xinjiang, which is autonomous region like Tibetan, but they're not autonomous because government has set up a concentration camp there and committing cultural genocide today. And that's the, lots of people don't know about and not even allowed to ask a question. Because if you say that, like the NFL, like one athlete talk about condemn Chinese for cultural genocide in Xinjiang, Tibet, then China immediately cut out the live stream service for the NFL basketball games, right? NBA, I would say NBA. I think there's an NBA player. Yeah, NBA. And the Major League Baseball also have deals with China. So whenever you say big corporations, they are afraid of speaking something about truth in China, follow the money. Here's the introduction to my family. I was a little girl on a horse, and that's my aunt. My mom, dad, and my little brother is 17 months younger than me. Under communism, everything is owned by state, including yourself. So in order to take family portrait, you go stand up in line with cash. And my aunt never took portraits in her life. She insists to be in our family picture. And we let her. She was so cute, And my mom, dad, if you don't know about Sichuan, Sichuan is southwest China next to Tibet. That's why I live in Colorado for 20 years. I like mountains, you know. And I can go to the beach for about 1 week, 2 weeks, you know. Then I need to go back to the mountains. And Sichuan people are famous for being the first one to rebel and last one to submit. Maybe it's like a Western Texas. I'm married to a Texan, so Wild West, right? So our life under communist China, I was born 2 years before Cultural Revolution. To summarize it, I taught to the kids today in Liberty Youth Academy. So basically, everybody work for state. You go to school 6 days a week, and your parents work 6 days a week for the government, but everybody's hungry. And they tell you how much you should eat because not enough food, what clothes you should wear, and what hairstyle you should have. So that's our life. 8 families share 1 bathroom in only one thing is free, community housing. But how would you like to live in a courtyard with 8 families share 1 bathroom? Nobody. It's disgusting. It's a big hole on the ground. You can fall backwards, get buried. I know, girls tell me, oh, yeah, that's why you have a little party in your apartment. And 1 water faucet. So if you lose water, you lose electricity out of luck. Cannot cook, cannot eat, just be starved. My mom, dad, later had another brother, which is 5 years younger than me. So I had to babysit him when I was 6, alone. When they say communism, everything's free, like Karl Marx, Mao, they appended that picture to get people to buy into that. It's a big night, utopian, that will never come. Everything costs you money, and it costs you freedom, and make you actually rely on government more. So if they can say, you rely on me, government, for food, for health care, for schools, for housing, is that scary? Because government, they are made of men, power-hungry men, corrupted politicians, and they can cut that out. Then you'll be out of luck. Like 40 million Chinese starved to death during the Mao's Great Leap Forward. So when our young people today to buy into free stuff provided by government, be careful what you are asking for. Personal responsibility, families and communities, it's a lot better than rely on government. So that's our school, 1st grade. I was this little girl without red scarf. I was 7 years old, best student, great grades. But I could not join Young Pioneer during Mao's Cultural Revolution, even though I was a red child, because I was too confident. I told my girlfriend, I will be the first one to join Young Pioneer. How do I know? She reported on me. I went to principal teacher's office. They said, we're going to hold you back. You were so confident. Being confident, self-expressive, it's a flaw in a collective society. I learned my lesson at 7 years old. Okay, don't trust anybody. That's the Cultural Revolution environment. Don't trust anybody. Even today's China. When you go there, be careful. Don't trust anybody. So to some people, if you don't know about Cultural Revolution, let me give you a summary. Mao lost some power after about 40 million people starved to death during his Great Leap Forward. So he was marginalized, and Mr. Liu Shaoqi became the new president of China, PRC. And Mao was not happy. He was hungry for power. He started Cultural Revolution called Cancel the Four Oaths. Getting rid of 4 oaths, cancel old traditional ideas, culture, habits, and customs called the 4 oaths. So anything can be 4 oaths. The Chinese jacket I'm wearing is 4 oaths. It was banned to wear that during the Cultural Revolution. As a girls, don't try to look pretty. It's not PC. I can wear this every day if I want to. I can wear different outfit tomorrow. Nobody's going to tell me what to wear because I can now. You know, imagine the oppression we live under. Hairstyle, clothes of color, how much to eat, music, press, everything is controlled by the government and schools. So you really don't have lots of room to choose anything. You're owned by the state, and your children belong to the state. So Mao used a typical Marxist concept, divide all Chinese into oppressor versus oppressed. Sounds familiar today? And 5 black classes under oppressors: landlord, rightists, traders, bad influencers. How do you define those terms? It's very liquid. If you're against government, if you're dissident, if you just offer party some positive suggestion to improve China's economy, you're a black class. And I was red class, luckily. Otherwise, I could never even wear a red scarf. So red classes, workers, peasants, revolutionary soldiers, party cutters, and heroes, and get 10 classes fight each other during the Cultural Revolution. Then Mao used young people. He has a famous saying about young people. Young people's mind is like a piece of blank white paper. You can draw the most beautiful pictures on it. Mao was right. Use young people because they're naive. And get to them earlier. They can be communists forever. So he used red guards, urban youth, to go after his political enemies. He shut down schools during the first few years, Cultural Revolution. And the red guards will go door to door to loot and burn top-down statues and commit violence against the black class people and take away all the old items, all the furniture, because they're old, and torture people during class struggle sessions. And law enforcement told, stand down, do not enforce laws. When people are being tortured public to death, there's nothing you can do because you're a black class. You're subject to public condemn. And during that time, in order to be politically correct, people change names, burn books, relics, temples, and churches. So I will show you a picture. Those are just some summaries. Then struggle sessions, you are black class, you go to public square, you lower your head, you publicly shaming yourself by them or by yourself and criticize yourself. I apologize for my family, for my ancestors, I'm sorry. You keep your head down. And the assumption you are guilty at birth by relationships. Let's say if your grandparents are landowners, you are guilty because you are their grandson or granddaughter. And by association, like they're your friends, your family, aunts, uncles, and by your past words and the deeds. Sounds familiar, right? If you say something when you were teenagers, 40 years later, you are guilty. You are racist. Hey, similar tactic. Family labor turn on each other. Young red guards were shutting down schools to do struggle sessions full time called a critical class theory. So the different class people can fight each other, hate each other, and doing struggles. So if you are a black child, 16 years old, under tremendous pressure to come out, to denounce your families, in order to change your class from black to red, what would the teenagers do? Some would choose PC instead of their family. Oh, I'm going to announce my last name, denounce my family. My grandparents were black classes. They were rich, they were landlords. I'm going to change my last name from Tang to Wang. George and I, they're no longer my families. So many young people did that. Some even saw their own family members tortured to death. And they live with that guilt because they turned them over. They live with that guilt all their lives. And they were young, they were used. And laborers were afraid to talk to each other because you don't know who will report to who. And redefine social norms. So the Cultural Revolution, in order to get rid of the old culture, old Chinese civilization, they promote girls look like boys, train like soldiers, and do not wear pretty clothes, and do not look sexy, no makeup. Promote unisex, genderless society. And you will see the pictures later I show you. And we all look dressed up like soldiers, wear PLA, People's Liberation Army uniform. And the Communist Party control all the press, all the periodicals, all the radio stations, and later all the TV. They still do today. So don't believe anything you come out of China's propaganda machine today. Our medias do. They sympathize with China. Or they have a relationship. I don't know. Because all the Chinese immigrants like me, we all know. Yeah, you cannot believe that. You cannot believe the COVID numbers, death numbers, stopped reporting since last July. And they cover up. Because officials are not elected, they're appointed, so they was on the cover up so they don't lose their jobs. And they use mob tactics of fear, intimidation, and violence during the Cultural Revolution under Mao. 20 million people died. Lots of them are intellectuals, teachers. Like if you have relatives belong to Nationalist Party who left for Taiwan, and if you had overseas connections, and if you own the land, you say anything inside the party but against Mao, like a favorite Liu, black classes. Some people committed suicide. I know my friend who lost 3 aunts to suicide. They were the rich, capitalist family in Shanghai. They just could not understand, couldn't comprehend. All of a sudden, 30 people marched into a property, threw them out, and grabbed everything belonged to them. No private property left, and they could not even go out. They had to share pants to go out. Here's some pictures. That's Mr. Liu, the president of PRC. Was after Mao become godlike because of the Cultural Revolution, he was house arrested because he was a revisionist. Who knows how do you define those? Because he wanted to have China's economy to be stronger. People don't starve to death. He wanted the old way of doing economy. He was revisionist, all the names calling. He died under house arrest like an animal on the floor by himself when Mao took over the entire China. So all the people were afraid. His family were afraid to be associated with him because Mao, he became Mao's target. And other people too, including today, Chairman Xi Jinping's father was also criticized and like him, targeted, went to concentration camps, labor camps. So I don't know, well, how come Xi did not learn anything about that? I don't know. He wants actually to be like Mao. As a student in middle school, besides studies, we need to march. We march like a net. That's not me, but I can tell, I recognize it. Then you hold down the flags and communist leaders' posters and hold the Mao's little red books. I even bought one from Amazon, bilingual, little Mao's red books. When you march doing military training, you march like this. You sing red songs. Typical red songs is always Mao is the sun rising from east. My parents are dear, but Mao is more dear. It's a collective sense of love, collective sense. So that's why people here, some college students today really worship this guy called Karl Marx. And the girls, as I said, wear unisex approved color, white, navy blue, grain, and hold mouse books. Your hairstyle cannot be like me today. Oh, I'm just gonna lay my hair down past the shoulder and wild. No, unisex short hair, braids, pigtail, ponytail, that's okay. But you cannot have your hair wild, lay down past your shoulder. That's capitalist lifestyle. You can get criticized. You cannot join the Young Pioneer and the Red Guard. And if you're from black family, that's even worse. If you dare to wear jewelries, have hair, nails done, put a lipstick on yourself, you could be targeted by Red Guards. Like, are you capitalist? What kind of family background do you have? Are you black families? Why are you dressed wearing something like that? So that's what the communists believe. Mao wants you to believe. Cannot be human being. Want to look pretty. Your human nature does not exist. I have all those pictures from my past to show you because I dare to resist. I hide my personal pictures. I keep them in an album. I cannot tell people I have an album. Otherwise, you'll be criticized. Why are you so sentimental? That's capitalist, bourgeois lifestyle, have an album. Lots of my friends today in China, they ask me for our old pictures because they don't have an album. I just knew. I don't know why. Someday, I'm going to look back my life. It's my life, my memory. I want to keep those pictures. They think you're not human beings. Being sentimental is not, a good quality to have. Girls, that's a typical propaganda. When they control propaganda during the Cultural Revolution, music, dance, art, songs, all political. We call them red songs. And Mao's wife developed a Chinese opera called the Peking opera. It's a very high, sharp noise. Like that. It hurts your ears when you hear it. But our schools are like a concentration camp, 6:30 in the morning. Da, 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 time to wake up and time to sing red songs. Here's the news. Go to work, go to school. So this is a typical, only thing we watch every day, on propaganda TV, is girls practice like soldiers and all show their love to serve the country. And that's me on the floor. The only time we can dress up, look pretty, is use Chinese folk song and the folk music, like minorities I told you about, different from Han Chinese, 5% of the population in China. But still, the lyrics are red. So we're doing, thank you, Chairman Mao, for saving us from poverty, and thank you, party, for giving us food. We were so innocent, naive. Look, the only time you can smile like that, that's a correct movement to smile. But if you go to other sense, you smile, people say, why are you smiling? Taiwanese people are suffering. 2/3 of the world population are starving to death. That's what we're told. Why are you smiling? We gotta go defend American imperialists. They told us, do not smile like ugly Americans. You know how sad I feel last year? Americans had no faces, no smiles. Our kids, lots of them still don't have smiles. If you ask somebody who survived former Soviet Union, they tell you same thing. Do not smile like Americans, ugly Americans. So American individual freedom of smiling, expressing was condemned. And think about what they're doing today. So I already mentioned to you, all religions were destroyed. You're only allowed to believe the new religion called communism. So all the youth were indoctrinated. Only believe Mao and communism. No other religion. Black class, if you have other religion. Say they burn all the Confucius and the Buddhist and statues. Top them down, then burn them. Catholic Church learns, make them to come out, denounce Bible, denounce their faith. And all the Red Guards was face up. And nuns from Tibetan temples holding their old vase to apologize, to say, okay, I have an old art here and supposed to turn over. Remember, get rid of for old, cancel for old, and forget about songs that will say anything about the leaders. There's no comedy in China today, real comedy, political comedy. You go straight to jail if you can dare mock a political figures. So when I say comedians today have to be politically correct, that's another seminar. It's scary. You cannot, you have to agree with the radical left. Oh, shut up. No more jokes for you to laugh, Living the life, every day is politics and everybody is quiet. Red Guard. You will see another similar picture. And it's really like religion. So you see all the young people act like that way too. I was brainwashed to say, long live Mao, 10,000 years, another 10,000 years. Mao was like God to me. I did not know the truth. I was a child until he died when I was 12. So he started talking to me from sky. You see him smiling in the fire. So I learned the PC very quickly. Since I was criticized at the age of 7. If I'm smiling, happy, and they ask you why, you just say, I'm talking to Mao. That's okay. Oh, good child. Hey, be straight rat. That's how you survive in that oppressive regime. Here's a young kindergarten age lined up to sing red songs, hold Chairman Mao's books. So brainwash starts as young as kindergarten preschool. Mao, China. Even today, struggle sessions, line up, apologize, criticize yourself, apologize for who you are, your ancestors, even though you have nothing left. You have nothing left. You lost all your private property, but you got the family to blame. So apologize. But if you are dissident, professors, you also apologize for being wrong, You were against party to confess your crime. And the worst comes after struggle sessions. That's how my childhood memory started. When I was 4 or 5 years old, my grandma's neighborhood saw military trucks drive by, and with those people wear the name card, revengenists, counter-revolutionary, soldiers, red guards, and I heard they were going to be shot, public execution. If they don't apologize, they are still being hard to deal with. Shoot them. And they want to shoot them to show you, the people, you dare not to be against state. When I first wake up, even just start to ask a question, it's when Mao died. It's like Jesus, my God died. How could he die? He was immortal, 10,000 years. It's like 1 million years life. Well, we never were taught science either, right? Just all part of propaganda. So I was still young pioneer. I was so sad. And the first time I started to ask questions to myself. You dare not to ask questions publicly. How did he die? Did somebody lie to me? Did somebody lie to the entire population? My generation, my uncle's generation, who wasted 10 years in countryside to be re-educated by peasants? And now he died after he controlled all over China, over 1 billion people. So when Mao died, the party later come out to say Mao was a human being. They had to say that. Mao was a human being. His Cultural Revolution was a mistake, okay? So I was so lost. Our entire generation were lost. It's like, what to believe now? So it's a long story. From the day I start to ask that question, to go to college, study law, become a faculty member in Shanghai, then decide to flee China to come to the United States. So 17 to 24. That's another 7-year story. And I need another day to tell. But this is my happiest day in my life up to that point. 1988, May 11th. I landed in Austin, Texas airport. As I said, with nothing, but I got a big smile. I finally get out of China. And for the next 10 years, I dreamed about I was stuck in China. I could not get out. I could not get a passport. I could not get a permission to leave. And it was, I woke up, I always feel so relieved. I'm here. It's over. Don't dream about it anymore. And that's first night, I met my husband. My Christian friend said that he was sent to me by God. And we just dated for 18 months. We got married and raised 3 wonderful children. And I'm very blessed in this country. That's why I feel like it's my calling now to defend this country and to tell the truth. Thank you. So what did I say as similarities between my first cultural revolution I survived to come to this country when I was about 24 years old, to now, what's going on in this country with the social justice movement and critical race theory? I'm going to list what I told to you about first cultural revolution, and you see the similarities. Cancel culture and demonize founding fathers, traditional values, institutions, and cancel books and songs on common issues. Sounds familiar? Like Mao's cancel culture? And dividing. We have, of course, oppressors, just like as same as before, versus oppressed. But instead, who are the oppressors group now? Especially white, male, conservatives, Christians, and regular conventional marriage couples. So you can put those categories into certain category. Then, just like Mao's. 5 red, 5 black. Who are oppressed? People of color, women, liberals, trans, poor, whatever they want to put there, or intersectionality. Lots of subgroups, 60 genders. Indoctrination of youth to be social justice warriors. Indoctrinate people to be red guards, young pioneers. Hey, they even rhyme each other. Somebody is learning. They're not learning real history. Our young people don't know real history. But somebody who wants to use young people are learning from communists, from Mao, how to do a cultural revolution. When you look at all these similarities. Change school names straight, top down statues, burn buildings, loot private properties, defund police, and military go woke. In China, do you know military people are controlled by a communist party? How do 1.4 billion Chinese rise up? They're disarmed. And Mao said, political power comes from a barrel of gun. But only government soldiers have guns. Citizens don't. That's why you have 10,000 students, peaceful protesters, were crushed. 1989 June 4th. They deny existed. You cannot search on China's search engine, Tiananmen Square. You cannot even request phone number to be June 4th. It's sensitive numbers. You can be targeted. Numbers not available. And CRT, DEI training. DEI, do you know DEI, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. They might not call CRT. CRT has bad name, but they can use other names. Social emotional learning, emotional responsiveness, and DEI training, the same regular ratios. When you go to training, I have people work for big corporations. You go there, stay there for several hours that day and listen. if you could apologize, to be shamed, to criticize yourself, then you will be less white and you will be less racist. If you don't want to admit you are racist because you are white, because you have an implicit bias. Sounds crazy? So if you go there, I'm not racist. No, you are, you just don't know it. That's how irrational the left is. And the same thing, you are guilty by birth, by relationship, by association, by past words and deeds. Just because your ancestors, like my husband's ancestors come from England or Germany, a Mayflower, all white, all part of colonization, you are racist. And I'm supposed to be oppressed, I'm Chinese. We've been married for so many years, he can tell you who is more oppressed, That's a joke, right? And the family, neighbors turn on each other. During the COVID shutdown, have you heard stories like that? Neighbors call cops. If you are not supposed to have a house party, have a big family gathering, you don't have enough social distancing, they can call on cops, especially some big blue states and big cities. And you have political views, you have a different candidate yard sign, you are racist. And they turn on each other. It's so sad for me to say that. And even family members will say, my uncle went to Capitol January 6th. Does that remind me of red guards who turn over their family members to the local police to be tortured, to go to struggle sessions? And redefine social norms. Promote unisex, genderless society. Mao wants everybody, all the women look like a man and to become soldier-like. And today we cannot tell anymore. Man, woman, woman, man. It's just, I don't care if they leave us alone. After 18, they're adults. They're going to pay money. They're going to do their own thing. I respect your choice. But somebody do not respect us. They want to push down your children in classrooms. And they even tell you critical race theory does not exist in schools. Big lie. Big lie. The largest teachers union, NEA. Look at their website. June, they passed resolution by the members. They're going to push down critical race theory into all public school districts, 14,000 of them, and have a budget to identify parents, community leaders who are against them. Then you have a school board association right later to Biden ask for assistance by FBI, Department of Justice, to identify parents who could be potentially violent and potentially domestic terrorists. Are you following up? All that similarities, parental rights do not exist in China, and they are diminished today very rapidly. So they can shut down your school, they can push vaccine mandate of mask, everything on you without parental consent. I see those similarities really scare me. And you have press, main media, social media, parrots, state bureaucrats, social media, big tech, censors, dissidents. As I said, I got a warning by Facebook, haven't been canceled yet. I'm trying not to be canceled. I'm not effective if I disappear, right? Just like if I go to China, if I disappear, I cannot be here to call them out, to tell the truth. It's very scary. Some people will say, oh, they're private companies. Are they really private companies? Are they pressured by government? And before PRC, I can tell you, the Communist Party's propaganda organizations all were private until they took over the country. Then they nationalized, control all the press, all the media. And now, their propaganda machine, Xinhua News Agency, is the largest propaganda organization in the entire world. They spend billions of dollars in America trying to sway public opinions about them, about China. And no questions asked. Or you don't get into Chinese market. You don't have profits. So last two similarities, silence, canceling dissident voices, make people fear loss of their jobs, career, business, and what else you cannot lose? It's just a mob. Like, did you watch the case recently? The Red House juries even get followed, taking pictures, threatened. You need a rule in our favor. Otherwise, hey, we might just show up at your family location. What country do I live in? Is that a crime to threat juries? But our DOJ, FBI don't do anything. But if your parents are passionate and angry about your school board decisions, hey, FBI might show up and talk to you, interview you. Use mob tactics, fear, intimidation, BLM, Antifa, anarchist, communist. Sounds familiar? Like Mao? How many people are we going to see to die if we just do not stand up? We are the majority. And look at those pictures. Mind you, last year, right? Look, I apologize. I'm sorry for our ancestors past. Even though how many white people own slaves today? 0. But then, guilty at birth. Apologize for your ancestors. I'm okay to teach history, to teach slavery, to teach civil rights movement. But you don't have to teach critical race theory or one race or other races all based on skin color. That's totally opposite what Dr. King said. You know, we should judge people based on the individual character, not skin. That's scary. Who wants to go dining now? If you go dining, you get a social justice warriors. They all hold their face up like a red guard. Do you see the similarity here? To me, I just cannot even sleep when I see that. It's like, what is going on in this country? I'm repeating, living another cultural revolution. Instead, big posters on the wall, you got those other spray paintings all around the wall. You get the people to say, silence is violence. Speak up now. Speak the names now. Brave woman. She did not get scared. She did not say the names. She saw those kids were actually pretty ridiculous. How many buildings we saw got burned last year, including federal buildings? How come those people are not insurrectionists, extremists? Because the media, right? And those people not in jail got bailed out. Constantly come out. I don't know how many statues top down. They are living history, and they remind you what happened in American history. Teach them so we can learn from it. But why damage property? Some are private, some are public, but they all are properties. Cost taxpayers money if they're public property. But they don't care. Hey, but in Seattle, they let the Lenin statue standing. Does that tell you something? They're choosing picking. Who's in favor? It's an ideological war. Looting is justified, repatriation. So the whole movement is not about Black Lives Matter anymore. It's about equity. Equal outcomes equals socialism, communism. How do you have an equal outcome? Because everybody's intelligence different, everybody work ethics different. Hey, can you play basketball? I want to play basketball, but I'm only 5'1". So they're gonna, like Pol Pot did, cut people's legs off so they can look same height like other people. If you wear glasses, you look different. We'll tell you, because you are disabled. Why do you have to wear glasses? Because we want you to look the same. And this social justice warrior looks like another girl I just showed you earlier, a red guard, just totally hysterical, emotional, religious faith. May 1st this year, Austin, Texas, where I went to graduate school, my husband's hometown. You got Antifa young people cover their faces and hold communist leaders' posters, big posters, like we did during Mao's revolution. And they flexes proletarians of all countries unite. And with communist symbol, that's May 1st, International Workers' Day. Marxism. Can you recognize that? Have our young people read Communist Manifesto? Do they know what they're buying into? Equity, proletarians unite? Yes, Chinese proletarians unite. Then 40 million starve to death. And you don't get enough food to eat if you're not high enough in the ranking of the CCP, like my parents, illiterate working class. It's all lies to get you buy into, then throw you under the bus. People don't understand the rich people in this country, work corporations, they will throw you under the bus. Once they have absolute control, I mean communists, Marxists, they're going to tell you what kind of policy you should have in your company. And they're going to send the party committee on site. Now 100 employees, you must force your employees to get the vaccine. Totally unconstitutional, but they even don't care. Their sleeves come off. White House said, regardless the decision by the court to halt the vaccine mandate for private companies. Oh, they don't care. Do it. Do it right now for public good. Stop the spread of COVID. It's really getting old. But the people buy that. People buy that because of public good. How many young people understand public good, society security, public health? In order to use those words to get the people support, they can cancel your constitutional rights, your religious freedom. I saw people were getting fined by worship God outside in the parking lot last year, in your cars. But then our masters all go die inside like French laundry and go to salons without mask and flying around to see their family members, have vacations. Hypocrites. How come our people don't say that? Because the media don't report it. You have to know which source. You can get your truth. In order to say, all those people have no credibility. Why our people, especially young, trust authority so much? Blame our educational system, government schools. I've been saying that for years and years. Here's the NEA on June 30th to say, increase the implementation of critical research in K-12 curriculum, promoting CRT in 14,000 local school districts, attacking opponents of CRT, including parent organizations and conservative research centers. Wow. Like what? Manhattan Institute? Heritage Foundation? They single out this is political. And teachers union regardless the state laws. Because some state, like New Hampshire, passed the law. You cannot teach this because you are teaching discrimination. One race is more superior than another race. And teachers will teach that. You can report and get that teacher to lose teaching license. I suggest you look into that. Push your state legislature to pass similar laws. And look at the poor kids, right? This is sad and funny at the same time. When you are 8 years old and learn that you are responsible for slavery, the Holocaust, Crusades, and the colonization of Africa. How can they smile? In school, they cannot smile. They are segregated. They are divided. They feel guilty about something they even don't understand. It's like blaming an aging girl for Pearl Harbor. Think about that. But when it comes to their slogan, oh, stop aging hate, they're using us. But then, aging children who are high achieving students get discriminated by Harvard, by Yale. They dropped the lawsuit. DOJ dropped the lawsuit against aging children. They categorize agings as white now, not because our skin color, because our economical status. See, that's so clear to me. It's not about skin color. It's not about race. It's about redistribution of wealth, and it's about purge. It's about cultural revolution on American soil. Can you see the connection now? So what can we do? As American citizens, what can we do? First of all, you got to understand and comprehend the potential danger of this CRT and woke and social justice movement, whatever name they use, and expose what's going on in your schools, your corporation. There are whistleblowers everywhere, including good conscious teachers will whistleblow. Look, they said critical race theory is not teaching in public schools. It's a lie. Here, I have something to prove. And those teachers are heroes because they will lose their career, they will lose their jobs. I have one friend in Chicago school district. It's like that. They organize. Once you comprehend the urgency, expose, then we need to organize locally and don't play defense. Conservatives have been nice for so many years. You are busy making money to be taxpayers. You don't go to school board meetings because you trusted them. In public school, you think they're not communists yet. But look, what happened so quickly. Then you start to say, during last year's shutdown, what they're teaching kids online. So now it's time to take action. With all these communist Marxist talks, we are warning. This is not your regular 80s, 60s, some kind of cultural thing is happening, rebelling. This is a serious cultural revolution by communists and Marxists, what you can call globalists, deep state. They want more power, more control, and more wealth. And your constitutional rights don't matter. Our children, our schools belong to them. Did the Governor Kennedy just come out in Beijing to say, your parents have no idea what to teach in schools. It should not be part of curriculum. Contempt parents. They show no respect. Those people think they're better than us. Why would they better than us? They have no constitutional authority and the moral authority to tell me, as somebody who survived communism, what to do, how to think. I just want my goddamn freedom in this country. So, if you want to get involved, think about start or joining a like-minded group. Could be online, could be local. All politics is local, like this group. It's local. We have the numbers, so bond together. They contribute time, effort, money to help you grow your groups and to do outreach. Active yourself, your neighbors, anybody you could, convince and persuade, and even include moderate Democrats. We are not each other's enemies as citizens. We love our country, and we have so much in common. The common is that we want to be happy, we want to be healthy, we want to raise our children, and live an American dream. But only a few or very few percentage people really want to put chains on our legs. So those are the true enemies, not fellow Democrats, not the independents, not each other. So we need to convince them. Next, every one of you talk to 10 people, even 5, and they go out do the same thing. Then you get your locals organized or online. Then you show up at the meetings like this, at your politicians' town hall, email, calls. If you can write, good writer, write open ed. I did 4 times with my broken second language English. I wrote 4 times. I wrote lots of articles in the past many years, and press release, go to rallies, have peaceful protest, and hold elected officials responsible. Don't be afraid to call names. Don't be afraid. Run for office if you are interested in doing that, especially local school board. Represent the parents and the children who are most naive and vulnerable, who need our protection. If we fail our children, then the country is gone in the future for them. There'll be not same America. And they will wonder, what hell did my parents do when we were losing America? They never knew it would happen so quick. They never knew all your freedom right to be gone. You don't want your children to blame you by the time they even don't know what's it like to have a real America for them. And support, volunteer, donate to the right candidates if you are not candidate material. And you have to pay taxes, you have to work, support family. Do something, make that priority. Because if you have no urgency, like I feel now, I'm just afraid the country I love will become the country I left soon. And what happened to me can happen to our children and grandchildren. The world will be a very dark place without America. Even Chinese government know that. They see America, CCP sees America as the biggest threat to their power grab in the whole world. Because Americans have a Second Amendment, Americans are brave. I thought every American should be like, give me liberty or give me death. Right? America is worth defending for. Without America, I don't know where I can call home. So thank you for listening to my story, and let's fight for our beloved country. Thank you. Yes, yes. I'm going to turn your lights up. So please follow me. Here's my contact information.